Welcome to Curious Kids. Please subscribe to channel. Rhinos, one of the most iconic and endangered species on Earth, have captured the attention of conservationists, wildlife enthusiasts, and the general public for centuries. Known for their distinctive horn and thick skin, rhinos are majestic creatures that have existed for millions of years. Despite their formidable presence, rhinos are increasingly under threat due to poaching, habitat loss, and other environmental pressures. This essay will explore the rhinoceros in detail, discussing its country of origin, population size, species, distribution, size, and conservation efforts. Rhinos belong to the family Rhinocerotidae, which includes 5 extant species that are grouped into 2 categories: African rhinos and Asian rhinos. The 5 species are white rhino, Ceratotherium cymum, found in Africa; black rhino, Diceros bicornis, also native to Africa; Indian rhino, Rhinoceros unicornis, native to the Indian subcontinent; Javan rhino, Rhinoceros sondiacus, found in Southeast Asia, particularly on the island of Java; Sumatran rhino, Dicerorhinus sumatrensis, found on the islands of Sumatra and Borneo. Each species has its unique physical characteristics, behavioral patterns, and habitat preferences, but all rhinos share common traits, such as their thick protective skin and large, powerful bodies. Rhinos are large, heavy mammals with a robust and thick skin that acts as armor. The exact size of a rhino depends on the species. Here's a breakdown of the typical sizes for each of the 5 species. White rhino, the largest of all rhino species. The white rhino can weigh between 3,000 and 5,000 kilograms, 6,600 to 11,000 pounds. They are about 4 meters 13 feet in length and 1.8 meters 6 feet tall at the shoulder. Black rhino, smaller than the white rhino. Black rhinos typically weigh between 800 and 1,400 kilograms, 1,800 to 3,100 pounds. They are about 3.5 meters 11.5 feet in length and 1.5 meters 5 feet tall at the shoulder. Indian rhino. The Indian rhino weighs between 2,000 and 3,000 kilograms, 4,400 to 6,600 pounds, and stands around 1.7 meters 5.5 feet at the shoulder. They have a single horn. Javavan rhino. Javan rhinos are slightly smaller, with a weight range of 900 to 2,300 kilograms, 2,000 to 5,100 pounds. They stand about 1.5 meters 5 feet tall at the shoulder. Sumatran rhino. The smallest rhino species, Sumatran rhinos typically weigh between 500 and 800 kilograms, 100 to 800 pounds. They are around 2.5 meters, 8 feet in length, and 1.3 meters, 4.3 feet tall at the shoulder. Rhinos are known for their horns, made of keratin, the same substance found in human hair and nails. The horns are used for defense, dominance displays, and digging for water or food. Rhinos are primarily found in Africa and parts of Asia. Each species has its specific habitat requirements, but they tend to prefer open grasslands, savannas, and forests. White rhino. Native to southern and eastern Africa, the white rhino is found in countries like South Africa, Namibia, Zimbabwe, and Kenya. They prefer grasslands and open savannas where they can graze on grasses. Black rhino. Black rhinos are more widely distributed across sub-Saharan Africa, including countries like Kenya, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, and South Africa. They tend to favor scrublands, grasslands, and woodlands, where they feed on a variety of shrubs, trees, and grasses. Indian rhino. Native to the Indian subcontinent, the Indian rhino is found in the grasslands and floodplains of India and Nepal. They prefer tall grasses and wetland areas. Javan rhino. The Javan rhino is found only in Ujung Kulon National Park in Indonesia, making it one of the most endangered species on Earth. They are typically found in lowland rainforests, coastal plains, and wetlands. Sumatran rhino. Native to the islands of Sumatra and Borneo in Indonesia, Sumatran rhinos are found in tropical rainforests. They prefer hilly, forested areas and are usually found at higher elevations. While rhinos are found in these specific regions, their populations have been significantly reduced in many parts of the world due to human encroachment and poaching. The global population of rhinoceroses has been in a dramatic decline over the past few decades. As of 2023, the total number of rhinos across all species is estimated to be around 27,000 individuals. but this is an estimate that varies depending on ongoing conservation efforts and the threats they face. White rhino. The white rhino was once on the brink of extinction, but has made a significant recovery due to intensive conservation efforts. The population of white rhinos is currently estimated at around 18,000 individuals, with the majority found in South Africa. Black rhino. Black rhinos are critically endangered, with an estimated population of around 5,000 individuals. The majority of black rhinos are found in Kenya, Tanzania, and South Africa. Indian rhino. The Indian rhino population is stable, with an estimated population of around 3,700 individuals, primarily found in India and Nepal. Javan rhino. With fewer than 75 individuals remaining, the Javan rhino is considered one of the most critically endangered species on the planet. All of them are confined to the Ujung Kulon National Park in Indonesia. Sumatran rhino. The Sumatran rhino is critically endangered, with an estimated population of fewer than 80 individuals. They are scattered across the rainforests of Borneo and Sumatra, facing significant habitat destruction and poaching threats. While rhinos continue to face numerous challenges to their survival, conservation programs have helped to stabilize or even increase certain populations in some regions. However, the overall outlook for many rhino species remains bleak. Several factors contribute to the declining populations of rhinos. Poaching. The primary threat to rhinos is poaching for their horns. Rhino horns are highly valued on the black market, particularly in Asia, where they are used in traditional medicine and as a symbol of wealth. Rhino horn is composed of keratin, and despite no proven medicinal benefits, it is still highly prized. Habitat loss. As human populations grow, more land is cleared for agriculture, development, and infrastructure. This results in the loss of natural habitats for rhinos, forcing them into smaller and more fragmented areas where they face increased competition for resources and greater vulnerability to poaching. Human-wildlife conflict. In areas where humans live near rhino populations, there are frequent conflicts between rhinos and farmers or herders. Rhinos can damage crops, and in retaliation, humans may kill or harm rhinos. Climate change. Changes in climate patterns, such as droughts and extreme weather events, can impact rhinos' ability to find food and water. Habitat destruction due to shifting weather patterns further threatens their survival. Diseases. Disease outbreaks can have devastating effects on rhino populations. As rhinos are often concentrated in protected areas, diseases can spread rapidly and have a significant impact on their numbers. Conservationists and governments worldwide have made significant efforts to protect rhinos. Some of the key conservation measures include anti-poaching measures. Many countries have implemented stricter laws and increased surveillance to prevent rhino poaching. Rangers patrol national parks, and the use of drones and cameras helps monitor rhino populations. Protected areas and reserves. Establishing and maintaining protected areas is a critical strategy for conserving rhinos. National parks like Kruger National Park in South Africa, Kaziranga National Park in India, and Ujung Kulon National Park in Indonesia provide safe havens for rhinos. Rhino translocation. Translocating rhinos to safer areas is another conservation technique used to boost population numbers and ensure their survival. These operations aim to establish new populations in areas where rhinos once thrived. Captive breeding programs. Some species, like the Javan and Sumatran rhinos, have benefited from breeding programs in captivity. These programs help maintain genetic diversity and, in some cases, prepare rhinos for reintroduction into the wild. Community involvement. Involving local communities in conservation efforts is essential for the long-term survival of rhinos. This includes education programs, community-based conservation initiatives, and sustainable development projects that reduce human-wildlife conflict. International cooperation. Rhino conservation efforts have seen greater international collaboration, particularly with organizations such as the Worldwide Fund for Nature, WWF, the International Rhino Foundation, and the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN. These organizations work together to monitor rhino populations, raise awareness, and secure funding for conservation projects. Rhinos play a vital role in maintaining the ecological balance of their habitats. As herbivores, they help shape the landscape by grazing on grasses and shrubs. Their feeding habits can help prevent the overgrowth of certain plant species, maintaining biodiversity. Additionally, rhino dung serves as a fertilizer for the soil, benefiting other plants and animals in the ecosystem. Despite their imposing appearance, rhinos are generally solitary creatures, with their social structures varying between species. Their social behavior is closely linked to their need for space, access to food, and mating opportunities. Let's explore the social lives and behavior of rhinos across species. White rhino. White rhinos are among the most social of the rhino species. Females and their calves often form loose herds, sometimes consisting of several mothers and their young. These herds typically consist of up to 10 individuals, with each female maintaining a separate territory. Males, on the other hand, are solitary and establish their territories by marking them with dung piles and urine. Male white rhinos often have overlapping territories, and competition for mates can lead to aggressive encounters. Black rhino. Unlike the white rhino, black rhinos are much more solitary and territorial. Adult males usually live alone and aggressively defend their territories. Female black rhinos are also solitary, but may have overlapping home ranges with other females, particularly when resources such as food or water are scarce. The only time black rhinos interact socially is during mating, or when a mother is caring for her calf. The bond between a mother and calf is particularly strong, with the mother staying with her young for up to 3 years. Indian rhino. The Indian rhino, much like the white rhino, has a more flexible social structure. Females with calves will often form loose associations, but they also maintain their own space. Males are solitary and have a large territory. The territorial behavior of males is usually non-aggressive, with communication through scent marking and vocalizations rather than direct physical confrontations. Indian rhinos also display a keen sense of smell, which helps them navigate their environment and avoid conflict. Javan rhino. The Javan rhino, one of the most critically endangered species, has very little social interaction. Males are solitary and mark their territories with feces and urine. Females may share some overlapping range with other females, but overall, the species tends to avoid close-knit groups. This behavior is thought to be driven by their limited habitat and the high risk of conflict with other rhinos over food and space. Sumatran rhino. The Sumatran rhino is also relatively solitary, though it is more elusive due to its dense forest habitat. The social structure is not as well studied due to the remoteness of their habitat, but it is believed that, like the Javan rhino, they maintain territories and are often seen alone. The Sumatran rhino, being smaller than its African relatives, is more mobile and agile, which may influence its solitary nature. Rhinos are generally not aggressive unless threatened, and their interactions are often centered around food sources, water, or mates. Territoriality is a key aspect of rhino behavior, particularly for males. They mark their territories using scent, feces, and urine, and these markers serve as important signals to other rhinos. All rhino species are herbivores, with each species having different dietary preferences and feeding strategies based on their habitat and available food sources. Their diet is typically rich in grasses, leaves, fruits, and shrubs, but the types of plants they eat vary significantly between species. White rhino. White rhinos are primarily grazers and are known to feed on a wide variety of grasses, particularly the short grasses that grow in open savannas and grasslands. They are the largest herbivores in their habitat and can consume up to 50 kilograms, 110 pounds of grass a day. White rhinos are able to graze efficiently thanks to their wide, square-shaped mouths, which are designed to pick up and ingest large amounts of grass. They can also be seen feeding alongside other herbivores, such as zebras and wildebeests, which help maintain the grasslands by grazing down taller plants. Black rhino. Black rhinos, by contrast, are browsers rather than grazers, meaning they feed primarily on shrubs, trees, and bushes. Their hooked upper lips are well adapted for plucking leaves and twigs, allowing them to access food that other herbivores cannot reach. Black rhinos may also feed on fruits, bark, and occasionally on herbaceous plants. Their diet can vary depending on the availability of different types of vegetation throughout the year, and they are known to adapt to their environment accordingly. Indian rhino. Indian rhinos are grazers, but can also browse when necessary. They feed on grasses, sedges, and aquatic plants found in their wetland habitats. In addition to grasses, Indian rhinos will sometimes consume fruits and tree bark, and they are known to frequent riverbanks, where they enjoy wallowing in mud and water. Javan rhino. Like the Indian rhino, the Javan rhino primarily feeds on grasses and aquatic plants, although their diet may also include fallen fruits and tree leaves. They are found in coastal areas, which allow them to access both land-based vegetation and aquatic plants in rivers and ponds. Sumatran rhino. Sumatran rhinos have a varied diet that includes fruits, berries, and leaves from a wide variety of plants. They also feed on tree bark, ferns, and other vegetation found in the tropical rainforests of Sumatra and Borneo. Their smaller size and more agile nature allow them to move through the forest to access a variety of food sources. While all rhinos are herbivores, their specific feeding habits are influenced by the availability of food in their respective environments. Rhinos play a critical role in shaping their ecosystems by influencing plant growth and distribution, which in turn affects the populations of other herbivores and plant-eating species. Rhinos are magnificent creatures that have been around for millions of years, but their survival is increasingly threatened by poaching, habitat loss, and climate change. With a global population of fewer than 30,000 individuals across all species, rhinos are critically endangered and require urgent conservation attention. Efforts from governments, conservation organizations, and local communities are essential to ensure that these majestic animals continue to roam the earth for generations to come. Conservation efforts have shown success in some areas, particularly with the white rhino, but there is still much work to be done. It is crucial that the global community unites to combat poaching, protect habitats, and implement sustainable solutions for both rhinos and the human populations living alongside them.